$10,000 a month in dividends sounds impossible, but the strange part is this. The hardest part is not the $10,000. The hardest part is staying invested long enough for the math to finally wake up. Most people look at dividend income the wrong way. They ask, how much money do I need today? But the better question is, how much time do I have and how much can I invest every day? Because $1,000 a month, $3,000 a month, and $10,000 a month are not just three income numbers. They are three different lives. $1,000 a month can cover groceries, utilities, insurance, or part of rent. $3,000 a month can feel like a second paycheck. $10,000 a month can feel like financial freedom for many families. But here's the problem. If you try to get that income from the regular market alone, the numbers look painful. The S&P 500 may be great for long-term wealth, but today, it's not built for high dividend income. If the S&P 500 pays around 1.1% in dividends, then $100,000 invested gives you only about $1,100 per year. That's around $90 a month. That is not retirement income. That is a phone bill. Now, flip the math. To get $1,000 a month from a 1.1% yield, you would need a little over $1 million invested. To get $3,000 a month, you would need over $3 million. And to get $10,000 a month, you would need close to $11 million. That is why so many people give up before they even start. They see the final number and think, I'll never have that. But the mistake is thinking you need all the money on day one. You don't. You need a system, and that system has 4 parts. You need consistent investing, you need dividend growth, you need reinvestment, and most of all, you need time. Now, before we go further, this video is only for education. This is not financial advice. ETFs can go down, dividends can be reduced, and future returns are never guaranteed. But the math can still teach us something powerful. Most beginners make one big mistake with dividend investing. They chase the highest yield. They see a fund paying 8%, 10%, or 12%, and they think they've found a shortcut. But high yield is not always a gift. Sometimes it's a warning sign. A yield can look high because the price of the investment has fallen, and if the business quality is weak, that dividend may not grow. It may even get cut. So instead of chasing the biggest payout today, we need to ask a better question. Can this income grow for years? That's where dividend growth ETFs become interesting. A good dividend ETF is not just about yield.
It should pass 3 simple filters. First, the cost should be low. This is called the expense ratio. It is the fee you pay every year to own the fund. A small fee may look harmless, but over 20 or 30 years, fees compound against you. Second, the ETF should focus on quality. Some ETFs only look for high yield, but stronger dividend ETFs often look for companies with profits, cash flow, dividend growth, or a long history of paying shareholders. Third, the ETF should have a track record. A fund that looks good for 3 years has not proved much. A fund that has lived through crashes, rate hikes, recessions, and market panic tells you more. So let's use a simple model portfolio. Not the perfect portfolio, not the only portfolio, just a dividend growth ETF model to understand the math. The 5 ETFs in this model are SCHD, SDY, DGRO, FNDF, and INTF. SCHD is the foundation. It focuses on U.S. companies with strong dividend qualities and keeps costs very low. SDY focuses on companies that have raised dividends for many years in a row. DGRO focuses on dividend growth with broader U.S. exposure. FNDF adds international stocks using fundamental measures like sales, cash flow, and dividends. INTF adds international factor exposure, but it has a shorter history than some of the others, so it should be treated carefully. Blend them together and the model gives us a starting yield around the high 2% range, plus assumed dividend growth and price growth over time. Again, this is a projection, not a promise. Now let's get to the part everyone wants. How much do you need to invest to reach $1,000, $3,000, or $10,000 per month in dividend income? And one important note, when I say per month, I mean monthly average. Many ETFs pay quarterly or semi-annually, so this is not always money arriving every single month. It is the annual dividend income divided by 12. Let's start with $1,000 a month. In this model, John starts with just $2 a day. That is about $730 per year. Over 30 years, John contributes $21,900 of his own money. At first, nothing looks exciting. After 10 years, the account is still small. The dividend income is not life-changing. And this is exactly where many people quit. They say, this is not working. But it is working. It is just early, because compounding is quiet in the beginning. Then later, it gets loud. By year 30, under this model, John's portfolio grows to around $206,000. The projected dividend income reaches around $13,000 per year. That's roughly $1,100 per month on average. Think about that. Only $2 a day. Not because $2 is magic, but because 30 years gave the dividends time to buy more shares, and those new shares created more dividends. That's the snowball. Now let's raise the target. What if John wants $3,000 a month? He does not need to change the system, he changes the contribution. Instead of $2 a day, he invests $6 a day. That's about $2,190 per year. Over 30 years, John contributes $65,700. Again, the first 10 years may not look impressive. That's the boring part of wealth building. But boring is not bad. Boring is often where the real money is made. By year 20, the portfolio starts to look more serious. The dividends are now helping more. The account is no longer growing from contributions alone. It's growing from contributions, price growth, and reinvested dividends all working together. By year 30, under this model, the portfolio reaches around $620,000. The projected annual dividend income is around $40,000. That comes out to about $3,300 per month on average. Now pause here. John did not invest hundreds of thousands of dollars from his salary. He contributed $65,700 over 30 years. The rest came from time, growth, reinvestment, and staying consistent. That's the part most people miss. They focus only on the final number, but the final number is built one small decision at a time. Now let's talk about the big target, $10,000 a month. Most people hear that and immediately think that's only for rich people. And yes, if you want $10,000 a month tomorrow, you need a huge portfolio. At a 5% yield, you would need about $2.4 million. At a lower yield, you may need even more. But what if John is not trying to buy the income today? What if he's trying to build it over 30 years? In this model, John invests $18 a day. That's around $540 a month, or about $6,570 per year. Over 30 years, John contributes $197,100. That's not easy, but it's not millionaire money either.
It is a serious habit. Here is where the psychology matters. After 10 years, the result may still feel disappointing. The account may be growing, but it does not look anywhere close to $10,000 a month. This is where most people lose patience. They compare year 10 results to a year 30 goal, and that makes the whole plan feel broken. But the math is not broken, it's just not finished. By year 20, the portfolio is doing more of the work. The dividends are larger, the reinvestment is stronger, the account is now moving with more force. Then year 30 arrives. Under this model, John's portfolio reaches about $1.86 million. The projected dividend income reaches about $120,000 per year. That's around $10,000 per month on average. The lesson is not that everyone should buy these exact ETFs. The lesson is bigger than that. Dividend income is not built from one magic fund. It's built from a system of saving, a system of reinvesting, a system of choosing quality over hype, and a system of giving time enough room to work. Now, there are risks. Dividends can be cut, ETF prices can fall, taxes can reduce your income if you are not using a tax-advantaged account, and if you use a Roth IRA, you also need to follow contribution limits and eligibility rules. So never treat a projection like a guarantee. Treat it like a map. A map does not walk for you, but it can show you the road. So here's the clean summary. At $2 a day, the model points toward around $1,000 a month in future dividend income. At $6 a day, it points toward around $3,000 a month. At $18 a day, it points toward around $10,000 a month. Same basic system, different contribution levels, different outcomes. But the real secret is not the ETF ticker. The real secret is time. Because in the beginning, you build the portfolio, but later the portfolio starts helping build itself. And that's when dividend investing finally starts to feel different. So here's the question. Which dividend income target would change your life the most? $1,000 a month, $3,000 a month, or $10,000 a month? Comment your number below. And if you want to see what happens when you don't have 30 years, watch the next video, because the math for building retirement income in 20 years or 10 years is very different.